Okay, I thought I'd do a video today about do and make collocations because I've had some questions from Sergey today about this, and it's not the first time I've been asked about the difference between do and make, and it's not easy. I think generally speaking we can say that make is when you create something new, and do is when you just carry out a task. So look at the two expressions make a test and do a test. They mean something different. If you're making the test, then you're actually writing the test for the student to answer the questions. So you actually create the test for the student. So I've made quite a lot of tests in my time as an English teacher, but my students are the ones who do the tests. I just check the answers. So if we look at some of the words then that collocate with do and make, here are some examples. Do an exercise, do an essay, do a test, do homework. In all of these expressions you're carrying out the task which the teacher has set you. We also do an experiment or do an operation. If you're a doctor, you have to do an operation on people. If you're a surgeon, you have to do operations. You can also, with some very abstract nouns, use the expression do someone a favour. Here you're helping someone. You can do good, you can do harm, and you can also do well in a test, for example. You can also, anything to do with housework, you need to use do. Do the housework, do the washing up, do the vacuum cleaning, do the ironing. All of these are tasks which you carry out. So I think that's a reasonable way of understanding do. With make, it's a little bit different. Firstly, if you make something concrete, you're actually physically creating it. So if you make a boat, you sit there with your hands, and with your hands you make the boat from wood or whatever materials you choose. You can also make dinner, you can make a sandwich, you can make tea, or you can make the bed, which means actually make the bed look nice. Put the covers in a nice, neat way, and the pillows, fluff them up so they're nice and ready for whoever's coming to stay. Some other abstract nouns now which you use with make, you'll notice that they still have the idea of creating something new. So you can make an arrangement, you can make an appointment. You're not carrying out a task here, you're actually creating this new arrangement or appointment. So make arrangements, make appointments, you can make a suggestion, you can make someone an offer, you can make a promise. All of these ideas, it seems to me, are where you're creating something new. There's some kind of new idea that you're creating. Anything now to do with money, well, not everything, but most things to do with money we make. You can make money. It means make a profit. You can make a loss if you're not making money. You can make an investment. You could make a very good investment or a very bad investment. You can also make a bet. If you enjoy going to the casino, you make a bet. And if you win lots and lots of money at the casino, you make a fortune. Okay, the other expressions with make, these two are quite negative. You can make a complaint or make a mistake. Again, these are new things which happen. They've got nothing to do with fulfilling some kind of task. You can make a decision. You can make a discovery, certainly something new. And you can also make an inquiry if you're asking questions about something. You can also make excuses. Here you're lying, so you're making something up. Just use the phrasal verb, which we'll come on to in a moment, some of the phrasal verbs with do and make. You can make a wish. Again, it's something new. You desire something and you make a wish on your birthday. You can make a noise or make a sound. And you can make progress. Okay, so that's pretty much the collocations. There's a good page on Wiktionary which has a list of all of the collocations with do, make, have and take. Well, of course it's not all of the collocations, but it is a good list of perhaps the most common ones. So phrasal verbs now with do and make. Firstly, I want to say that make has a number of phrasal verbs which mean actually run. So if you make for the door when you're in a hurry, This means you go to the door very quickly. You run to the door. So make for is the same as run to. You run to the door or make for the door. You can also make away with something if you are a thief. So if you use a sentence like this, the bank robbers made away with £1 million. It means they ran away with £1 million. You can also make off with. Same as make away with here, you just means run off with, make away with, make off with. Okay, there is another meaning of make which is similar to perceive, similar to the verb perceive in phrasal verbs. So if you say something like this, it's a very foggy day and you're trying to see the sign on the road and you say, I can't make out what that sign says. It means you can't perceive what that sign says. Now it doesn't only have to be with vision. You could also use this expression with sound. So you can say, I can't make out what he's saying. He speaks so quietly. I wish he would speak up. Okay? Now with do, I want to mention do up first of all. Do up with clothes, it involves actually attaching the clothes together, so you can do up your buttons on your shirt, for example. You can do up the zip, you can do up your coat, you can do up your shoes. In all of these senses you are covering your body in some way. The opposite would be undo. Undo your coat, undo your shoes. The second meaning of do up would be to decorate or renovate some kind of place or object. If you do up your flat, for example, you're renovating your flat. Perhaps you're putting new wallpaper in the flat or putting new furniture into the flat. You're doing the place up, and I think here it's similar to dress up. If you dress up, then you wear nice clothes, so you put on something very nice. Well, if you do something up, you make it look nice, you decorate it, or make it look nicer in some kind of way. Okay, a few other phrasal verbs with do. These perhaps aren't so common, but nonetheless I'll quickly mention them. If you do away with something, you get rid of something. It's exactly the same as the phrasal verb get rid of. Another one, also not so common, do someone out of something. This is when you cheat someone. So if you do someone out of their change, when you're a shop assistant, then you don't give them their change, or you don't give them the correct amount of change. You cheat them in some kind of way. It's usually used with money. Now, one expression which I've used already a couple of times today in this lesson is to have something to do with. This is more of an expression than a phrasal verb, perhaps. But I said at the start about make and do, that make has something to do with creating something new, and do has something to do with carrying out a task. So have something to do with just means connected to be connected to something. It's often used in the negative as well. People often say, I have nothing to do with this. And when they use this expression, they mean that they are not responsible for this action, or they know nothing about it. They're not connected to it in any way. Okay, that's pretty much all of it for the phrasal verbs with do. With make, there are quite a few other expressions that we can use. Just to have a look at some. Make up, first of all, is the most obvious one, which again I've already used today. If you make something up, you lie or invent a story. So adults, very often when they're talking to children, they will say, are you making it up? And they mean, are you lying to me? Are you making this story up? So we've already covered running and perceiving with make. There are some other ones though. For example, you can compensate someone by making up for it. Make up for means compensate. So if somebody offends you, they can make up for it by perhaps taking you out for a coffee, or I don't know, some kind of present that they give you. One last expression which I really should mention because it's very often used. People very often say make it in the sense of arrive. You can just say, "Oh, you made it today," to a student, and that means they've arrived, they've come today. Perhaps they've cancelled a lot of lessons, and they make it. It seems like a change, and so you say, "You made it to the lesson. Well done." You often use it in the negative, and you say, "I'm sorry, I can't make it today because," and it means they can't come. You can't arrive. This is very, very common in everyday English, and the same for a lot of these phrasal verbs. They're common in everyday usage. So try and use them as often as possible. Okay, thanks for listening today. I hope it's been useful, and I hope you come back soon for the next lesson.